So hello everyone,
Hello.
welcome to the new day and new vlog, and we are just talking after our FSC exam. So our FSC exam is done now, and we just came to this hammock and thought that we'll talk from here. We are in the university. So FSC exam, 90 minutes exam and
70 marks.
70 marks, and also how many tasks?
Seven. No, I didn't.
Seven
count
tasks.
Seven tasks.
There were total 7 tasks, and then now how the questions came and how were the questions related. So if we talk about the exercise point of view,
I would say in the exercise there were mostly MCQ questions.
correct,
So in the exam as well there are mostly MCQ questions.
correct,
And
not mostly. The more some of the points, the major points, 7-8 points were from CFG and other things as
control
well.
flow and
Yeah.
class diagram. Those has some
Correct,
huge marks. I would
correct.
say.
But the significant amount of questions were MCQ as well,
Correct.
and some of the questions came exactly as exercise, right? The
Yeah,
fill
for,
in the
for example,
blanks.
the first question. First question is all exactly same as the
Yeah.
exercise. So you just see the exercise and answer it.
Yeah, like the MCQ question that
MCQ
came.
question.
Then,
So for the MCQ one, there was negative marking.
Yeah.
It was mentioned that for
Yeah.
the ABC, where you have to write A, B, or C,
Yeah.
you have negative marking.
Yeah.
So if you write some wrong answer, your marks will be deducted.
Correct. That's only for MCQs. MCQs, as he told, because we were informed. I asked this thing as well, that for true or false or for other things, right, where you have to fill in the blanks. There were questions where you have to fill the spaces. For them, there was no negative marking, but for MCQs there were.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think most of the MCQs that has negative marking, I think that was in the exercises, and we got good answer from the exercises.
Yeah, but still, if you make them wrong, they have put negative marking.
That's true.
Now,
Question
coming.
2 was also, I think, related to exercises.
Correct.
One CRS and FS related question that was directly
Yeah.
from the exercise.
And like the question was that you have to define what's their definition, and in the second question they gave scenarios in the table and they asked you whether it will be CRS, it will be FSD, or it will be neither of them. So this is something different,
Different.
because usually in exercise we have either CRS or FSD, but here there was an option of none of them.
None of them.
So that was the case. Now in one more question, suppose we discuss inheritance question, class question.
Yes.
So
There was a question that if animal, there is a class called animal and there is one called cat. So what is the relation between
correct,
this?
and then table and table leg, what is the relation between them?
Yeah.
And there was one more question, school and teacher.
School and teacher.
What is the relation between
The
them?
options are like association, aggregation,
Yeah.
composition. So inheritance. So you have to choose one of them
Yeah.
in each of the questions.
Correct. And if you can just give detail about the class diagram question that came, UML diagram.
So for the class diagram, it was asked about a branch, a company, renting company,
Renting a vehicle.
renting a vehicle which has branch and name, and if each branch has some more properties, each branch has fleet of vehicles. For each vehicle, it can have 3 categories like car, motorcycle, and truck, and each of the the main vehicle class can have actually have some properties, as well as each of the subclasses or
Can
inherited
their properties were
classes
given. If we
were
talk in a
given.
generalized way, suppose for each classes their variables, attributes were given. How they are related in English sentence it was given. That if there is a contract, there will be, sorry, if there is a booking, there will be an agreement. If there is a vehicle, if there is a customer can make a booking. So it was like a description was given.
Description was given, and then we have to draw the diagram, and it was some points were also given, like one branch can have one vehicle, but one vehicle can have only one branch, or one
Yeah,
customer
this
can
was
have-
written. This was written like when there is a booking, then there will be a agreement. Then the agreement will be made, or if one customer or one booking can have one vehicle, like this. This was an
kind-
example,
this
like
question-
so
this
these
kind
type of
question. But one thing that seemed odd to me, that it was mentioned that we have to mention aggregation, composition, cardinality, and relationship. But if we make one mistake, so we will get 0.
yeah.
So that's something weird I have never heard of, because usually there are partial markings. But for this question it seemed not. But let's see. We will,
Yeah,
when
they-
we get the
yeah.
result, we will know.
Then only we'll get to know. And also there was thing that it was not mentioned whether you have to consider the variables private or public. So when I asked the person who was invigilating, he told this thing that suppose for rent me the private variables were given, so he said that just consider like that only.
Correct. I also
In
did
the-
the same.
yeah.
I saw that first example is given
Yeah.
private, so I consider.
Yeah, he
everything
said that
private.
consider like that only, and if there are some things which are related, then you can assume by your own. But apart from it, I think you have to do like in the mentioned in the question. and when you ask, then you can assume your own way, but the final answer you will get once you get the result. Now, after the class question and the FSD question, there was one question related to control flow graph,
Yes, there was,
which was also quite different.
there was a Fibonacci graph code of Fibonacci given. And
Fibonacci.
So for that
Yeah.
we have to draw control flow graph.
Yeah.
And for that, after drawing the control flow graph, we have to draw a branch coverage. We have to write
Yeah.
the branch coverage.
Branch
But
coverage.
it was different because in this we have if, else, and return.
Yeah.
So usually for branch coverage you have to cover every branches.
Yeah.
So what I did was I write 3 test cases for each of the
Yeah,
branch.
because the thing was, we asked this thing usually in branch coverage, you try to cover every branch. We wrote answer in our way, but the thing was here, the point was in the branch coverage question, if you remember, it was written mention the paths in the plural. So it means they want multiple paths. So they said mention the paths test cases that are required to cover the branch coverage. So you have to draw a control flow graph from a code. If it was like if, then else if, then else, and while loop inside else. So it was like this, and then you had to draw the graph and present the branch coverage. This was the last question,
This was the last
the branch question, the branch coverage question. Then there was class diagram question.
And there was another question regarding cohesion and coupling.
Yeah.
Regarding,
Yeah.
Similar to exercises, there are some scenarios given.
Yeah.
You have to identify the cohesion and coupling of them.
Correct. And there were scenarios, and they were different. They were not the same as of exercises.
Correct.
They were different scenarios. And one more thing I found different in exercise, if it remains the same till your point, but in exercise it was mentioned, tell me the type of cohesion. For other question, for other question, tell me the type of couplings.
Coupling.
Now here it was written, tell the type of cohesion or coupling. Means you have to decide whether
Cohesion
it is.
or coupling, not cohesion and coupling.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have to answer
Yeah.
both. If cohesion or coupling, then I would answer only one. But
Yeah.
here it is mentioned cohesion and coupling.
Yeah.
So you had to mention both. But for some
Yeah.
cases, its cohesion is easily identifiable.
Yeah.
But coupling is not like easily identifiable.
Yeah.
So, that
So you have to, for each case, you have to define a type, that whether it is a cohesion, whether it is a coupling, and you have to mention those types there. Now another type of question. I think we covered, like starting from the MCQs. There
Question
were
2 was related. Question 3 was related to function point.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
one question. I forgot.
finish,
first
start,
part.
start, finish, start,
yeah,
start. It is
yeah.
related to the project management. The
Correct.
topic was project management, and it was written that you have to write the what is the first task, what is the second task, what is the type of task, and how much duration it will take.
It will
And there are 5 cases given, and you have to define it. So it was quite different. It was not an exercise.
It was quite different.
Yeah, but
There
you,
are- Yes, it
Yes.
was quite different. You have to. It is pretty straightforward if you read the question and the definition of task of
Correct.
relationship. It is straightforward. It's good thing that we did added in our cheat sheet. So by saying the definition only, we could answer.
yeah,
There was one question regarding productivity as well. Here are some function point given, and
Yeah.
your there is some time effort given in person.
and you have to use a formula to
formula
calculate.
to calculate the productivity.
Also, one more thing. Now he is talking about the productivity. So before that, there was a question about you have to categorize whether it's, and it's not like output file, reference data. It was like internal logical files, external logical
logical.
files. So you should know that what is internal logical
So
file.
I
you
would
can.
suggest say he just renamed those.
Yeah, he
variables as
renamed.
well.
But the thing is, if the person, if like you have to be aware, I guess. One
Yeah,
has to be aware to answer that.
That is one trick. So
And also,
basically
you
that-
remember he changed the order.
Yes,
After that, he didn't put the output. You
That's
remember?
what I tried to
Yeah.
say. That in the question it was like input data queries, output, and everything. So he renamed it, and there was the order as well. In the question there is order, and in the category order. But here he changed the query and output. So if you just write one line by
Yeah.
the answer, you will get.
Yeah,
get
because in
the-
exercise it happened that first input, then output, then queries.
No,
But
no,
here,
first
yeah,
input,
first
first-
input,
first
then
query,
queries,
then
then
output.
output.
Yeah.
But here, first input, then your
the output.
yeah, and then queries.
queries.
So he changed the order.
Change the order. So
Yeah.
you just have to read the lines and this line will go third and this line will go
Yeah.
second.
Yeah, so
that's-
this was
that's
good.
easy if you know, but if you don't understand or if you got
Yeah.
panicked, it
Yeah.
will be difficult. But
And-
otherwise, it's easy. Just instead of data, he said internal files. Instead of reference data, he said external files.
Yeah. So now talking about the time constraint, I think time was good enough.
Good enough. If you have,
He said this thing.
he said this thing.
that-
If you have like good concepts, it's good enough to answer all the questions.
Yeah, and the thing was, he said that his colleagues tried to solve, and they usually solve in 40, 50 minutes maximum. The paper was of 90 minutes. So, but the thing was, you have for some of the questions which were not directly as the same pattern exercise, one has to take his time and solve it. So, for me and for, I don't know how about you, but for me, I did till the last one, whatever modifications I can do, because for some questions we had to think, like cohesion coupling and
I would say I have shorted in 2 minutes, because for the cohesion coupling question, if you have more 2 minutes more, I would think 2 minutes more. I have written it like whatever I am thinking, but I have written it. But if you have 2 minutes more, I would think more. But other than that, I would like perfectly for other questions.
Yeah.
This question I would like to think more, because by thinking only you have to answer.
yeah.
So that I would say, but it's actually quite
Yeah.
time is enough, I would say.
Yeah, its time was enough, and it was 70 marks, 7 tasks, 90 minutes. FSC paper, some questions, the pattern got changed. Some questions
for
came
MCQs.
from exercises as well. Like this, some of the questions exactly came as the MCQs that were there in the exercises. Some questions fill in the blanks were there, true and false were there. So significant amount of these questions were there. Then control flow graph was there, and your function project management question was there, and class diagram, UML class diagram question was there. Sequence diagram was not there. Sequence diagram was there in the exercise, but it was not in the exam. Class diagram, only one question was at 10 marks. Okay, 2. And specifically he mentioned that if everything is correct, then you get full marks, otherwise you lose points. So this was the thing, and there were quite a good amount of students who were there. Our paper was in Mensa, and it was a good paper is done, means the exam is done. Now we move to the next thing. So you want to add anything, or you just want to go home?
Ciao, ciao. So
You
now
want to-
actually I will go home and have a sleep,
Yeah,
take some rest.
take some rest, because we have our next exam. We'll talk about it, and that's it for this vlog. I hope you get some information about how the FSC paper came, and yes, this is it. That's it for this vlog. See you next day, new vlog. Till then, like, comment, share, subscribe. It doesn't take much time. Bye bye.